If you take, and Krishna says, just make a small beginning and you will see the wonderful results. That's assurance given there. A small step in this direction will give you a great gains. It starts with the first beginning step. Let us take the first step. When something is, I am deserving this, but somebody else got it. How can we be happy for that? Certainly not. It's not easy. But it's a process. Why I say Gita is scientific is, if I look Gita from a senses point of view, probably it talks so much about our senses, because the gateway between our external world, what we feel, and our internal world is the senses, 5 senses we have. So after about 30 years in service, facing goods and bads. So that's the end of it. I encountered Gita and started working on it. And it's a ocean. It's a life basically. It's somebody, if this existence comes and tells you how, it's like a operating manual of this existence. So it's 1 hour, it's difficult to justify, but at the same time, not doing is also not justifiable. So whatever best maybe will the time available, let us utilize it. First and foremost thing is, as I told you, it is very enormous and huge. It's like if I ask Mr. Guru to write a textbook on some management aspect from a LKG student to a PhD student, and from a beginner to maybe a practitioner, probably it will be challenging, and it will be very difficult also. Probably that's what Gita represents. For that matter, any spiritual text, if you start reading it, that's what it represents. It has somebody who has a plain reading, like a storytelling, it goes like a story. And I was reading somewhere, you have about 7 levels of things hidden in a simple kind of a text. In any spiritual class, if you take it, so that's the difficulty we face. Suppose if our understanding is at say LKG, if you are working on a Newtonian physics, and if you are immediately exposed to a quantum physics, so all the concepts go for a 6, and it looks very confusing. So somewhere I was reading, unless you master algebra, so understanding calculus would be very, very difficult. So that's how it goes. But the textbook is like that. Everything is written in it. So sometimes something becomes very easy to understand. Sometimes it's become very difficult to understand the level at which we are there. So in fact, today one of the things is I keep using a lot of science. I'm basically a science graduate. So unless we explain things in a contemporary scientific perspective, probably it will be a superfluous. That's why I prefer to bring a lot of scientific perspective into it. So it is said that in the today the existential theories, you have 10 dimensions in this world, but we can't have beyond 3 is normal. So slightly, if you bring time also, 4th dimension, some people can understand, but beyond that is difficult. So any issue which is difficult at, let's say, level 5, it becomes very easy at level 6. So it all depends on how we move up in the life and move up in understanding ourselves. So things become easier. So that factor needs to be kept in mind. And coming to the nitty-gritties of Bhagavad Gita, we all know it's a conversation that happened between Lord Krishna and Arjun. It's about a 700 verse conversation, which is in the middle of happened in the middle of a battlefield between 2 families of 2 cousins, and where Arjun had this feeling that no, I'm going to kill my the cousins, my teachers, and this is not good, and for the sake of kingdom, I shouldn't be doing this. So it looks very, very convincing to us. See, this man is sacrificing. This man wants to avoid violence. He wants to go and go to Himalayas and spend a peaceful life. It looks very, very logical. But I think that's the biggest hurdle. Also, one has to cross to enter into the world of Gita. So, and once again, that happens only out of our experience and over a period of time, our understanding of the things. So that's the first hurdle. So then Krishna tries to tell him, no, don't get into all this. It's come and do it. He didn't listen. So I start with the first verse of Gita. Probably that's, sometimes I feel that's the end of the Gita also. Probably if Arjuna understood that, then there was no need for to go further, and maybe we were lucky that he didn't understand. If he has understood, probably the matter would have ended there. The first verse says, why I say Gita is scientific is, if I look Gita from a senses point of view, probably it talks so much about our senses, because the gateway between our external world, what we feel, and our internal world is the senses, 5 senses we have. So he starts with the senses. He says, first and first, you have a sense organ, like an eye you have an ear, and each organ has 2 parts, let's put it that way. One is the eyeball you have, and you have a controller at the back of, depending on which part of organ you are looking. So for eye, at the back of your brain, you have the controller of the eye. Similarly, for ear, you have a controller inside. Probably the mind is nothing but a combination of all these controllers. You call it mind, then you call it intellectual. Intellect is slightly refining of this mind, and then you come to the soul. So these are the 3 levels which are there. That comes subsequently. But he says, when a sense organ meets with a sense object, what happens? Suppose if our ear listens to sound, it is bound to respond. It is bound to do that physical reaction of what the outer part of ear does. Then there is no way that you can avoid that. That's bound. There is going to be interaction. That's automatic. It's like any physical, the law of gravity, or you have electromagnetism. So it is as sure as that. Then at the controller level, what happens is, when this interaction, it generates what he calls polarities. Polarities of, he call it Sitoshna Sukha Dukkha. Suppose if you put your hand in a water, you feel whether cold or hot. Suppose if you hear a praise, somebody praised you about your work, about your maybe beauty, about your intellectual understanding, then we all get elated. Probably I'll slightly come to that later. Somebody criticizes us, then we get anger, we get depression. So what not? If we are energetic and capable, you will attack the other person. So this polarity gets started when there is a sense and sense objects, sense organ and sense object meets. Krishna tells him, it is anitya, it is a impermanent. Anitya is a very common word. Nowadays, if you look at any books, you keep a lot about impermanence of the world. So it's so that verse talks about anitya, says it's a temporary. Learn to just tolerate. If somebody praises you, realize that it's a temporary. If somebody criticizes you, the feelings what you are getting, realize it's a temporary. Arjun, don't worry, just know it's a temporary one. आपको जो feeling हो रहा है, so just tolerate it and then move on. But Arjun didn't move on, so probably that's where Gita continued. And scientifically, if you see, our brain has about 100 billion neurons, and when we are born, some of them are already used for dedicated functions of the body, like your heartbeat. Many automatic functions take place in the body. Some of them are dedicated to take care of those functions. Some over a period of time. Suppose if somebody is, I am from Andhra, I am learning Telugu, so my neuron patterns get tuned to Telugu. Somebody is learning Chinese, or in Punjab we are there, so Punjabi is learning. So all these neurons are used to they form a kind of a network. We call it hardwiring. Same happens with your, all of you must be knowing, if you are a cycling or a, or a driving a car. So these are all the neural patterns which, over a period of time they form. These neural patterns, today the neuroscience says is, you can't break those neural patterns. They are so strong because they save a lot of energy to the brain. Brain already takes about 25-30% of your energy. So if you, in the evolution, if you see in the last 2 lakh years, it's the available energy to the brain that led to our evolution. So earlier we didn't have that kind of energy in the bodies, the previous our forms which we are there. The moment more energy is available, brain started expanding. That's what is our evolution says. So these neural patterns, you can't break those neural patterns. So neuroscience says ki, what's the option? You can build only additional neural patterns over and above them, so that if there is a old road is there, you can't break it, you can't do anything about it, you build a new road over that. So that's how we change ourselves. So coming to this aspect of neural pattern and the polarities. Suppose why we want to hear only the praise? Why we want to see only a good place? We want to go to a holiday, we want to go to a sea coast or a beautiful hill. So these are all the neural patterns we developed over a period of time, especially in the childhood. So childhood we are told, you belong to a particular caste, you belong to a particular religion. So these are the rituals you have to follow. And broadly, if you look at our lives, our entire life is defending what has been put into our neural network. And when very, very young, probably we didn't know, a small book is there, I recommend to you. I am okay, you are okay. It is about transactional, they call it psychology or something. So they, analysis they call it, yeah, transactional analysis. So his entire point is, as a child, they have a child, parent and adult, I believe. Then see, so how you develop your adult end of the day. So based on your logic, reasoning, okay, what I believed yesterday is something which I have been told when I didn't know what was it. So let me kind of analyze it and then remove those things. So that verse probably is my favorite verse. Whenever I get a chance, I try to revisit that. When sense and whenever I get somebody, see, in the life, nobody is going to praise you throughout, including your own wife, spouse, your own children. So no, in the office environment, nobody is going to praise you. At the same time, nobody is going to criticize all the time. So it's all kind of things keep happening. So this verse, if kept in mind at a slightly at a deeper level, at an existential level, probably 90% I think things are taken care. They are temporary. Krishna nowhere tells. In fact, at later stage he says, yoga kshemam vahamyaham is one famous quote in Gita. So I take care of everybody. But he never says that I will remove you from the polarities. So you have to go through it. Probably that's what is life. Why life has evolved? Maybe to handle polarities. If you look at the somebody reads the recent Stephen Hawking's book. So Einstein says God doesn't play dice. But Hawking says no. At some point somebody played a dice, because of which there is a slight variation in density, slight variation in temperature in the beginning, maybe very beginning. So that led to formation of our galaxies, our thing. So somebody played a dice. That's what his conclusion is. So this verse is the universal law which governs our existence. I think if this is understood, so we keep going through the polarities. There's no way you can escape it, but you will be able to transcend them. You are just be a witness to that. Oh, okay, this is what is happening to me. Over a period of time, probably you come to a stage where it hardly affects you. Second thing is another famous verse in Bhagavad Gita is, one more thing, let me tell you, I don't know Sanskrit. I'm not I thought of learning, but I thought it's a learning curve of about 3-4 years. I said, instead of doing it, let me use my life experiences and try to understand it. Then, so I don't remember any verses also. So you have to take it as a good or bad thing. Once again, polar thing. Its choice is yours. So you take it as a. So 2.47 is another verse, which is a wonderful verse. It talks about karma and karma phal. So he says you have a right to do your karma, but you don't have a right over your karma phal. So this is most often quoted verse in the Gita. I think if nothing is known to anybody, at least people would know this verse of karma and karma phala. So many places this concept gets revisited in Gita. So you have a karma, and our understanding about karma is it has a karta, so somebody who does it, and you have a karma phal. So you went to the room and switched on the light. So karta, you switching on the light is karma, and light started giving light. That's a karma phala you got. So this is a broad understanding what we teach our children also, and what our understanding about life also. That's how it goes. So but he says no, learn to separate karta from karma. At some points he says that. Some points he says learn to separate karma from karma phal. Is some places he says that. So first I'll take karma and karma phal, how to separate, what's the need to separate, and then I will take karta and karma. First of all, I think let me take the first one first. Ahamkar is one word which probably I have been using till about last 4 years without knowing actually what does it actually stand for. Ahankar. So English we call it ego or whatever it is. And it has two words, aham karta. So I am doer. So that's what is ahankar is basically all about. So in this equation of karma and karta, the moment we start feeling that I am karta, I am doer, then you end up in ahankar. So this is a common word. The ahankar is so kind of subtle as well as so gross. Probably it's recognizing it is very, very, very difficult. The chances are that whatever we are thinking, whatever we are saying, whatever we are doing, behind that is this ahankara that keeps driving us. So getting free of it is not so easy. At many places, this aspect is touched. Suppose if you are doing a karma, he says, dedicated those karma to me. So it means drop your karta. You are no more karta. The Lord Himself is the karta. So you dedicated the karma to Him. So different techniques He gives. So first and foremost thing is, I am not karta. Then immediate question comes, so many things are happening around. Then who is actually karta? He gives the answer, we have, like any physical entity has a property, physical properties, and you have chemical properties. Similarly, as an entity, what we call ourselves sapiens or humans, the entity is we have sattva, tamo, and rajoguna. Is that we are made up of three gunas. So let's understand what these three guna is all about. First is rajoguna. Rajo is about energy. You have that will to work. If you are sitting in an office, file is over, then immediately you open a computer. No, this work is pending, this work is pending. So some internal kind of energy which keeps driving you all the time is what is the Rajoguna. Then comes Tamoguna. Tamoguna is, it's like, let's put it, Rajoguna is like an accelerator you use in the car. So if you press it, then it keeps driving you, taking you to the speed. Tamo is like a brake. It is lethargy, alsi. So where it doesn't want you to do anything. So suppose, imagine you have only Rajoguna which is driving you throughout the day. Then you will not be able to sleep. First and foremost thing is, for sleep, you need Tamoguna. In the night, rest, so, though many things are automatic in our body and in the system, but that Tamoguna takes over. So at a given point of time, you will have some Sattva Guna, some Rajoguna, some Tamoguna. Because whenever people talk about, they say you should shed Tamoguna, shed Rajoguna, develop Tamoguna, Sattva Guna. So this is what is usually we keep hearing. But Krishna says these three are the real kartas. Suppose if you are driven with, so one example I'll give you. you had a very long working day and went home. So the spouse at home, the spouse was free throughout the day. So they were waiting for you, or family waiting for you to take, because they were throughout the day in Tamoguna. You were driven in Rajoguna. So you are at the entering Tamo. They are entering Rajo. They want you to take to a cinema hall or a shopping, whereas you are completely tired, and you have boss has given work for next day also. So you have to prepare a presentation or some lecture. So that interaction that happens is between Tamo and Rajoguna. So I don't know what happens. You all would guess and know what kind of interactions can have. So the next question always comes, then what should I do? So that's the last question that comes. When you understand all these things, probably what should I do automatically comes also. When you transcend all these three gunas, then you are no more. You can just summon one of it and then use it and then keep it now in the somewhere I was reading something to hang. You just hang it, took it as a coat, you wore it, and then you put it back there. You are not under influence of that. You are above it. You are able to influence. So it's like I have a favorite story which I learnt when I traveled to this place. It is attributed to some king who came from Mongolia. He came and conquered Delhi, and he wanted to take a victory procession in Delhi. So in Indian culture, you have an elephant which was decorated, and then it was brought. He said, come and sit on it. So he sat in it. He said, "Ki mera lagaon kahan hai? Where is the reins of this elephant?" I said, no, elephant doesn't have reins. So it has Mawat, is a driver which who drives it. So he will do it. Don't worry. He jumps out and says, get my horse. So horse says, it's not decorated, no problem, get my horse. So end of it, next day somebody asks him, so why did you do that? He says, I don't ride on something whose reins are not in my hand. Suppose if you are under the influence of guna, they will play you havoc. If you are able to transcend it, take the break and realize that yes, today I am under the influence of this Rajoguna. No, let me just come out of it. Tamoguna, let me come out of it. Satoguna is like a steering wheel. It keeps balancing between these acceleration and brakes so that our journey remains smooth. The moment that's what his awareness is all about. And which guna I am in, and how I control that guna, or don't come under the influence. Control is also, I don't use the word, don't come under the influence. You just realize, and then the solution will automatically appear. There is no universal solution for any situation. It can depend, it has many possibilities. So then comes karta. Karma is the one. You are not karta. It's a gunas which drive us. Like any, in a physical field, if you jump from a building, gravity will do its job. It's not about our willingness, accept, don't accept. Choice is ours. So if you want to experiment, see, we can experiment and see. But this is the reality of existence. Then comes karma and karmafal. So he says there is, you keep separate these two. He gives one reason subsequently elsewhere. There are many factors to a karma to give you a particular karmafal. One of the factors he says is daivam. Some X factor, which I call it. There is some X factor between your efforts and the result which you are going to get, which is not in your hand. So look at the example of a famous cricketer. So he has all the talent. He has all the capability, but for some reason, for some 5 matches, you will find him out of form, or we call it out of form, we call it whatever it is. But that the moment that X factor is missing, he is going to fail. So isiko, in fact, people call it Wohi Arjun, Wohi Ban. I don't know how many of you heard it. So it happens with Arjun also at a subsequent stage, where he had to fight a small band of bandits who are trying to create some problem. He couldn't defeat them, and he had to run away from them. So from there it said, Wohi Arjun, Wohi Ban. So that's one factor. Is there is some X factor which is not in our hand. Secondly, our understanding. See, our brain, if you look at the capacity as a capacity of the brain, still it is limited. Maybe down the line, if a millionaire down the line, if you look at what life form, Naval Harari says, I think Homo Deus. So in the future generation, what's going to happen? We really don't know. But at this point of time, our brain has a limited capacity. Senses have a limited capacity. Like eyes can access only a limited frequency of light. The ears have the similar problem. All senses have their limitations. With the limit, it may not be good for me in the long run because I don't know about the future. So suppose if you look at a failed marriages, especially nowadays you see, and if you have, some of you could be in the marrying stage, some could be handling the children. At one point of time, both the couple says, at any cost we want to be together. But after 2 years, if you ask them, so many cases, practically all of us must be saying, after 3 years, I hate this person for reason XYZ. That reason was there before also. So, but the between karma and karmafal, our ability and capacity to match them is very limited. Because with changing, the same polarities come, the thing which we thought at some point of time is this way, when it changes, then we are unable to handle, then there is a problem. So karma and karmafal, separating is something which is constantly, throughout Gita, he keeps advising at various places. In the various contexts he advises. So in fact, at some point of time he says, if you can't do anything, he asks me how to, whether I should go for the form kind of the prayer or formless prayer. So such questions Arjun asks. So end of it he says, if you can't do anything, please do your karma without anticipating for karmafal. He says that's the highest form of practice you can have, and that will lead to the highest form of the self-realization. Other things you don't worry, leave all of them, but at least do this. That's what when it comes to the 12th chapter in Bhakti Yoga, he says. So this is one aspect. It keeps, I am taking only those aspects in Gita which are constant and which are, you will find traces in everywhere. So these are the kind of building blocks based on which the entire Gita is built. So rest all, once you go through this, you understand this, other things can be easily understood in the Bhagavad Gita. And third is, one more thing is, karma is not standalone. In the sense, today in this room, if we all of you are having a class, there is a reason. Mr. Guru thought it's right thing for the institution. Somewhere usse pehla I started writing about Gita. So then accidentally, as he told, he has clicked onto the Facebook. So everything is a chain of things. There is nothing called a standalone karma. Maybe sometimes it appears it is standalone, but nothing is standalone. Suppose if you link to maybe why we are existing, maybe our parents got married. Why they existed, maybe their grandparents got married. So it's a chain of events that end of the day. So it's like a ripples you see in a lake. So if you throw a stone, there will be a ripple. Each ripple will cause something. So if you start taking back further, maybe why we are all here, so there was some big bang here. So then what happened? Then there was a star, then all the atoms got frozen. Incidentally, we don't have a technology even to make a single atom today. We are all of the atoms which we are made were probably about 5-6 billion years back, was fused in some star when it exploded. We are a result of that. So everything is kind of a chain, which so the karma, one link if you want to take and take something out of it, probably that's not possible. That's a chain that keeps going on and it continues. And one more thing Krishna says about karma is so important and so I feel so easy to start practicing is, please perform karmas by dropping hatred. First and foremost, if you ask me a practical solution to implement Gita is, drop hatred. Hatred it's like a poison. You keep that in your mind. Suppose I don't like Guru. So nothing is going to happen to Guru. It's going to happen to me. That poison, I am carrying that burden over a period of time. So whatever he does, especially it happens in families. If you ever handle any marital disputes, disputes in the property of the children, you will understand. So whatever he says, the eye of the beholder, probably it is called. Then it comes back, and because that hatred is the lens which whatever good also is coming to you, it converts into bad. No, he did that, he said that. So I don't know how many have handled a marital disputes. No reason rhyme. You'll see there is a fight. And if you slightly sit, analyze, and take a paper and pen and write, let's write it, not even 4 lines they can't write. But no, they don't want to live together. That's the same happen in the property also. If somebody has a comfortable, decent living, others also comfortable, decent living, but that small piece of land, no. So, many times I wonder what happens to the. I am telling all out of my experiences, not of any theoretical reading. So the hatred, slightly if you can reduce the hatred, many times Krishna says, don't drop karma, because what's happening, Arjun, what he's saying, I want to drop my weapons and run away. He says, no, where will you run? How will you run? With that hatred in mind, where will you go? Even if you go to Himalayas, he will take that hatred along with him. Because hatred is inside, it's not outside. So if you take that hatred, that's what when he said social media evils, that's what, for no reason rhyme, the moment we see some video on a social media or WhatsApp, look at our emotions. If you have a belief system, if you have that neural patterns which I am saying, if it is in resonance with that, you will feel very happy. See, my stand is vindicated. Because our stand is always a truthful stand. We think our truth is our stand. Whereas we refuse to look at the other point of view, other person's point of view. That's where we started getting that hatred. So that's what the social media uses. Everybody, many of us actually must be using social media that. So they know very well. A positive news, if you ask a journalist, they say, nice, sir, positive news doesn't sell. It has to be sensational. Otherwise it doesn't sell. You have to sell the hatred. So that's their business. Let us understand what's my business. If he is doing his business, and why should I be the victim of my business? Why should I be victim to his business? So this is the typical. If any step, if you ask me as a takeaway from today's evening our interaction, say drop hatred. Please examine your hatred. Why you are hating somebody, something, some situation, some belief system, some thing which is the moment you go out and see the traffic, we start hating the traffic. So it's there, but no, you can't do anything. If you look at the our famous astrophysicist Neil Tyson, it's called. So he says, world is like that. It's not there to impress you or to help you. It is like that. Whether you like it, understand it, it's up to you. If you don't want to understand, don't understand. So that's how the system is. It's not here to impress us. We are not that 400 years back where Earth is at the center of the world. No, absolutely not. Today our understanding is we are nowhere at the center. So one thing I can tell is drop the hatred is one takeaway, which is constantly comes in Gita, many places. Drop hatred, drop hatred. One more concept in Gita is samatva. Equanimity is one thing which constantly appears. Samatva bhav, samatva buddhi, samatva drishti. These are all the words which are regularly used. Once again, I am not quoting any verse or anything, so that in the given limited time, we can expose you to the maximum the concepts given in the Gita. And each of them I find it so implementable on a daily basis. And somewhere Krishna promises, just many times I write articles, I keep getting comments, no, it's very difficult, how can we do it, it's very difficult. I said, that's okay, difficult, understandable. Any journey starts with the first beginning step. Let us take the first step. So these are all the areas where if you take, and Krishna says, just make a small beginning. And you will see the wonderful results. That's assurance given there. A small step in this direction will give you a great gains. The proportion is, it's like what do you call? I think today you have to turn a ship. You don't have easy machinery to turn the ship. It's not that easy. So the property of the water itself is used to turn very big ships. You have a small rudder attached at the back of the ship, and today I am told even rudder also has another rudder behind it. First that small one, very small one, it's rotated, big one rotates, and then ship takes a turn. So at a right point, at a right understanding if you have, then I'm sure the journey becomes much more enjoyable. So Samatva is one concept which regularly comes. He says, learn to equate things. He says somewhere, he says, a handful of soil, gold, learn to equate the same. Some says is dog and dog eater, so learn to treat them same. Different thoughts is learn to treat same. So Samatva runs as a common thread in Gita. Samatva, I would like to know, my way of taking on Samatva is, you have 3 levels of Samatva. In the constitution, almost all the countries have developed equanimity, equality before law is one Samatva, which is common because every thing preaches, every religion or culture was practice Samatva. Suppose if you go to Jesus' words, it says, learn to treat your neighbor the way in which you would like to be treated. That's also Samatva. Everything has, if you go to the Guru Granth Sahib, you have a different way of explaining it. But the concept is Samatva, equanimity. First is treating 2 separate people as equal. Suppose you are heading an organization, you are an office, you are head of the office, 2 people come to you. So treating them as equal is one thing we'll broadly all of us learn because of our law, because of our culture. We all know that. So how to treat 2 people as equal is something which all of us understand. The next level is one of them is close to us, one is not. Suppose you have a children, so your children did very well in the child didn't do very well in the NEET exam, JEE exam, but your neighbor's son did very well. So can you maintain the same kind of balance, equanimity? So that's the next level of Samatva, equanimity. So slightly difficult, certainly, but better than first one is certainly easy. We have to handle. Otherwise, there will be complaint. There will be somebody, some committee will sit on you, and that's why you are afraid of also. But when one is closer to you, one is not. So that's slightly difficult. Third thing is when one of us is the party. Suppose I was thinking I should have got this promotion, but somebody, Bala, took away my promotion. So then I'll say the amount of that feeling that I lose in that sense at that time is probably that the highest standard of Samatva is to be able to feel the same joy or happiness. It may look some superficial also. How is it possible when I'm something is, I am deserving this, but somebody else got it. How can be happy for that? Certainly not. It's not easy. But it's a process. Some other day it will come. Maybe if you have, I'll come to a concept called Shraddha at a later stage. If you have a Shraddha, maybe this route is not for me. There is a deviation. That's why deviation is coming today. So down the line, especially if you are reading autobiographies of people, any turn in life, it doesn't come with प्यार से नहीं आता है. It doesn't come with to our liking. It always comes as a bolt in from the blue. It never comes. That's what is my experience is. I'm sure all of you must have had it. So at that point of time, it looks as if the world has collapsed. The entire no way to go. But down the line, after 4 years, 5 years, in the college also, I always used to say, if you want to overcome a stressful situation, go back 5 years back and see what was your last stressful situation, how you handled it, or how it unfolded, and now today you looked at it and you just laugh at it. Maybe that admission we didn't get, maybe that job letter we missed on, maybe a promotion we missed, maybe a something, a relocation we had to do to a new place. So all these things, at that time it looks very painful, but when you look back and see, so the same thing happens. If you look back in forward 5 years and see what happened to that stress, then is you'll just laugh at it and then move on. This samatva is something which is, suppose if you look at family life, if you see, second level of samatva is treating mother and mother-in-law as one. So you can now understand how difficult or how easy it's going to be. It's a level at which you have to come. It's not. It doesn't come out of reading a book or reading this thing. It's purely, Gita is purely existential, purely practical. So this is the thing. If you can come, then happiness is yours, joy is yours. If you can't come, then perfectly all right. See, that way, kal parso I was reading, looking at some thing. The Gita is nothing imposes on you. It's like a multi-dimensional. It's like a, somewhere Krishna also says, I manifest to you the way in which you pray for me. If you are praying for a hatred, tomorrow this person should die, so maybe the universe will manifest like that. He will not say, no, you are doing right, you are doing wrong, this is, no, you should do this. Absolutely no. The universe is like that. It manifests how you are, no, it's like a mirror. It doesn't have inside anything. Whatever you are saying, it gets manifested. So equanimity is one quality. You see, many times, in fact, one verse is there. It is sometimes even criticized verse also. He says, keep 2.38 if somebody wants to know. Sukh dukh, labh nasht, jay parajay. Basically, two polarities he's talking about. Sukh dukh, labh nasht, and jay parajay. Maintain balance between these two. And he says, Arjun, go and fight. Paap nahi lagega aapko. Because he must be worried, I am going to kill my brother-in. Earlier he killed many people. We have to remember that also. He never thought that way. That ahankar is something that's subtle ahankar. Since my people is involved, there in that, so how can I? After I killing them, for whom I am going to enjoy this kingdom? So all these thoughts process must have been there for Arjun. But he says, maintain that balance. Even if you go and fight the war and kill the people, there is no sin to you. It's a crystallized verse. Krishna is telling to go and fight the people, but there is a condition. Maintain that balance. When you are balanced between that verse is very, very debated verse. If you read commentaries, people say, how is it possible? But it's like when I don't know about Japan, whether it is there in the map or not. So I argue Japan is not there. But somebody knows that there is a Japan, he has been there, and he knows it is there. So there is no meeting point between us. We keep arguing only. So if we don't know, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So the only thing is we don't know. By accepting that we don't know, probably 90% of the job is done. We win the 90% of the battle. And another concept in Gita is, it's called Sthita Prajna. 2.50 is the verse if somebody is keen, 5055. So Sthita Prajna is self-content. So he says, don't look for, answer to polarities is, don't look for the contentment from outside. The moment you look for content from outside, you are bound to get disappointed. So learn to, you have already that inner energy. If you look at the energy flows of this universe, if you look at from a physics point of view, so those are actually, it is driving you from inside. So don't look from something from outside for contentment. Broadly, our life is contentment from outside. It can be a social media, a movie, or a appreciation in the office or in the family. People are saying, you are such a great person, or acquiring wonderful positions. All these things are, the trying to get the content from outside. He says, no, look for content from inside. In fact, there is a one word of Jesus is very, very tricky word. I always remind that is rich will be given more, and poor, from poor that thing also will be taken away. It looks so, how is it possible? It looks, not a saintly person saying this, but look from the contentment point of view. If you start getting contentment from inside, more of contentment keeps coming. More of contentment. So because you don't need anything. So that small thread, if you get hold of it, then it's like a infinite amount of tap which delivers contentment. And if you are looking for contentment outside, so it is so elusive because our senses can never be satisfied. That's what Krishna says. They can never try to satisfy the senses. It is a failure. You will never be able to do it. At the end of the day, you will live empty-handed. So, contentment with self is something which is a common preaching. It comes once again. Sthita Prajna is one word which is used, and many places it comes. Sthita Prajna. So, this is one concept which is one can start practicing very early, and it's slightly easier when compared with other things. And one concept is in overall philosophy is whether a guru is important or a shishya is important. It's a the entire our Indian system says you should respect guru, you should adore guru. All those things are there, but Gita I find takes a slightly a different kind of a thing. Of course, it is usually said also in our day-to-day things. First, you become a good learner. A guru will automatically come to you. So you don't have to look for a guru, because even if you go to a guru, you are not willing to learn. What will he teach you? You have to be open to receive something. If you are not open to receive it, then no way a guru can help you. First of all, be a good shishya, good student. He gives 3 qualities for a good student. First is questioning. If you don't know, ask. If you don't know, maybe that's what every institution also must be saying. Keep questioning. Second is prostrate. Learn to sastang karna. Unless you have the humility, it's like a potential difference. Na? You have a higher potential, say if current has to come to, your potential has to be low. So, if you want to have a same or want to high, no, how will you get anything from the existence? So, that kind of humility, humbleness, unless we develop that prostration, no, the flow cannot happen. And questioning, if any of you are electronic students, there is a beautiful concept called feedback loops in electronic circuits. What they do is, suppose I am talking to you on the microphone. Some part of the output is fed back to the input circuits. So that gives stability to the circuit. What I am speaking, that gives clarity. It will remove the distortions and all. So this concept is nothing but like a questioning. If something happened to you, if I said a word, why did I say that word? Keep questioning yourself. Your doubts, you question others and ask others also. Question yourself as to why I said okay, I'm hesitated, I'm in a happy mood, that's why I promised extra. I'm hesitated, that's why I went and abused somebody. So, and why I did what I did. So this is one way. Yesterday I did this. Okay, so I was under the emotion of this. Somebody has excited me. I had that, in modern economics it's called loss of, it's called, it belongs to me, but no, I lost it. So all these things, then you realize, okay, this is when the same situation comes next time, you will be able to improve it slightly better. Maybe over a period of time, couple of months, years, then that feedback loop becomes so strong. Even before you deliver a word, even if you before do anything, immediately that gets stuck, and then you will be able to correct yourself through your words, through your actions, through your other kind of expressions. So third, frustration, questioning, and third is the compassion. So seva is the, he says, seva, I call it compassion basically. So if you are compassionate to other human beings, not sympathy. Sympathy is you are on a higher pedestal, and sympathy is to a lower pedestal person. So compassion. So these are all qualities, he says, please develop them. A guru will automatically appear. In not in Gita, in Srimad Bhagavat, he gives example of a learned man who has 24 gurus. So he says, how did you learn all this? He says, I have 24 gurus. He says, who are all they? He says, look at that honeybee. He said, honeybee, I am also looking at honeybee. What did you learn from it? He says, I have learned not to collect. The moment you collect, so either humans will come and eat up that honey, they will kill it and then eat it away, or some bear will come and destroy the entire beehive and then eat it. So I have learned not to. Okay, perfect. Second, said I have learned from fish. Fish, what do you learn them from? Says behind every that thing there is a so what do you call it? Hook. There is a hook hidden behind every food. What you see, that luring has a behind it. So once again, polarity basically. Third, he says I have learned from a small kid. What did you learn? He says how to be naturally happy. He is not bothered about anything. It just comes, that laugh and that laughter comes naturally. Okay, next, sun is my guru. What did you learn from sun? He says equanimity. Why equanimity? He says it doesn't distinguish. If you look at scientifically, look at millions of kilometers away, the sunlight doesn't distinguish. Mohali and of course, you have clouds is different, but equal amount of sunlight everywhere. So all these things, are learning. That's why if you are open to learning, there are many people to teach there. If you're not open, maybe the best guru in the world also will fail to do it. So finally, I think I'm running time. Two words which are very, very relevant is nimitt matra. Nimitta matra is just an instrument in the existence. You are just an instrument in the existence. You are not the one who are driving. This comes in the Vishwarupa. What happens? Arjun sees that all the warriors are entering into the mouth of death, and then Krishna says, you are just a nimitta matra. Don't think that you are going to kill. Even if you are removed from the equation, somebody will kill. You are not a person who is going to kill. Already there, he gives access to future. Slight future he gives access. Says, in the future you see, so all of them are going to die. The whom you are going to adore and you are saying so, their death is written now. So you are just a mere instrument. So the two things he does. One is he tells you are an instrument. Secondly, he says his ahankar comes down. He thinks I am going to kill. Who are you to kill? So it's a process, it's a in a Big Bang expansion. If you see, it's a expansion. Universe is expanding. Who are we to say I am expanding? I am coming, making a difference? Absolutely not. Of course, in a small way, in a family work, it looks as if we are making a difference. But he says you are a nimitta matra. Second is Shraddha. Shraddha and Saburi are, contemporary. If somebody visits, a Sai Baba temple, you will always find Shraddha and Saburi written there. Saburi is patience. Learn to have patience, because for somebody it can happen in one day. For somebody who doesn't know maths in the school, so the one who knows maths, he will understand like this. Somebody doesn't know maths, it takes one day extra to them. So have patience. Second is Shraddha. Shraddha is a common word. It comes in Gita. Shraddhavan is one. Many times he tells Arjun, be a Shraddhavan. Shraddha is the one who is, once again, a form of learning, willing to accept. So what happens is, nimitt matra, suppose if you are doing something, imagine you are an instrument, so no guilt, no that sense of what you call, especially guilt, I call it. We if we are suffering, we suffer because of guilt. I should have done this. Maybe a better way of doing was there. There is no doubt about that. Yesterday, you use it as a instrument to learn. To that extent, it's okay. But if that is driving your behavior, probably somewhere that rains wali baat aate, usko side pe rakhe, then don't let that drive you. So nimitt matra is something what you are doing. Shraddha is something what is happening to you. One is outward, one is inward. So accept what is happening to you as a blessing or as a prasad of the Lord. Then then there is no the difficulties or a turmoil one all of us go through, probably that level comes down. So nimitta matra is something which that guilt probably we suffer with, is we are freed of it. And I think I'll stop here. Already I think I taken more time. As I told you, this is a version. At the end of my journey, I reached here. So my thing is, if you want to understand anything, any book, I keep reading a lot of books. I read a lot of books. So now today, if I look back and say, okay, that sloka is actually, this other has beautifully. Maybe it doesn't have to. It might not know also. It gets manifested. It's a futuristic in the sense today our technology is at a level A. Maybe future generation will take it to the next level. So when an existence spoke to us, so it should be valid in all times to come. So some of the things we will not be able to understand today, and there's no way to know also. Maybe if you look back 500 years back, if you tell somebody, sitting here, you can talk to across the globe on a video call and you can see it, probably, somebody who has gone through sapiens by things, maybe they would have treated us as a god. Oh no, only God could do. How could somebody has a video call and talking there? So that was the 400 years has done it. 300-400 years back has done. But has it made people more happier? Probably that's $1 million question. He has his own theory of happiness, but I think that's everybody has their own thing. So I think let me stop at this stage so we can see once again. Thank you.